Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am drinking coffee at 5 p.m., so it's a mix of night and morning. I hope everybody's doing well. If you don't know me, my name's Imari, and I am a licensed speech language pathologist. I'm an educational consultant, and I am a special needs parent coach. Welcome to the group if this is your first time. If you are checking us out from YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe and share. Share, share, share. So, today is like a little extra encouragement. I think last week was very powerful, very chock full of a lot of information about gratitude and growth. Okay, that was the topic. Celebrate progress, not perfection. So, as I speak to you today, this is just like another, like a little extension of what I already spoke about, and just additional encouragement, support, guidance. So I'm so happy to be here. And I'm so happy that you would tune in and watch me and that we could spend a little bit of time together. So today we're talking about progress over perfection, how to measure success beyond the data. My own nails are distracting me. This is a mix of light brown and cream. It reminds me of a triple espresso with oat milk. Okay. All right. So progress over perfection, progress over perfection, how to measure success beyond the data. I know that there are not only parents of special needs children in the Facebook group, Special Needs Supermoms. There's also some professionals, some other speech language pathologists here in the United States and in the Caribbean and Europe. And there are also some other types of professionals like OTs and dietitians, teachers. So this is really um, uh, relevant to everybody. And so, since there's some professionals in the group, I want to let you know how data driven the child development field is. I mean, schools to outpatient pediatric sort of centers, data is what drives therapy in most cases, and a lot of that is then translated to the parents, and they they want to see data points. They Parents want to know their children are progressing. They want numbers. They want something quantifiable, right? Which is very important. I believe in data. Data teaches us, tells us, informs us of how to move forward. So data is very valuable. Data points are very, very valuable. However, there are some qualitative data points, right? Real quality, something you can explain and expound on that aren't numbers, that are just as important. And so I really want to talk about how to measure success beyond the data, because there are other ways to know that your child is moving towards their therapy goals, moving towards their classroom goals, moving towards their outside functional outcome goals, right? We have some moms in the group who have older kids who are adults, not kids, adults. And they're able, it's not really about schools and IEP, it's about functional skills in the community and in independence through adulthood. So progress, right, becomes more important than perfection. And we need to understand how to measure success beyond the data points. So let's talk about this. Let's jump right in. Define success through small wins. If you saw the reel that I made this month, my Hey Mama, um, I think Facebook AI put small wins like as my hashtag, because that's what it's about. It's about the small wins, okay? On your child's IEP, you'll see a long-term goal, right? Every domain, every subject, every related services will have a long-term goal. However, there are baby steps that lead up to that. And they may or may not write them. And I'll tell you, in the world that I work in, which is preschool, IEPs have to have a long-term goal, a short-term goal, but even to build up to those short-term goals, there's baby steps. So you need to see that growth often shows up in tiny moments, okay? Not just test scores or therapy goals. It happens in small ways, hence the name Small Wins. A glance at a new sound, right? For infants, for example, a longer moment of self regulation is huge. A shared smile, all of it counts. All of it counts. All of it counts, and all of it makes a difference. I mean, think about your day if your child could just push it and be regulated and be still and be and not scream, right? For just a little longer, it would make such a big difference in your quality of a day. It would make such a smoother day, right? As they just stretch it and do these things for a little bit longer. So you have to see the success through small wins. Small wins are very, very important. And they're the little baby steps that lead up to short term and even long term goals. Okay, let's talk about the power of consistency, right? Not intensity. So some parents will ask me, well, so what can I do at home? And should we be drilling? And what should I do? And it's really not, it doesn't have to be that intense, right? It's more about distributed practice than mass practice a lot of times, right? It's like a little dose consistently every day instead of like spending um 30 minutes on brushing teeth independently, right? It's like doing it for 5 minutes in the morning and in the evening, or 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes in the morning and the evening consistently every single morning and every single evening is much more effective than trying to spend a whole bulk of time on something. So that meaningful progress comes from repeated everyday interactions, not perfect home programs. Okay. Segue. If you haven't downloaded my November digital download drop, go get it. It's the progress tracker for parents. Reflect, record, rejoice. Okay. It's not a home program. It's an easy and simple way for you just to jot notes and just put your observations on paper and reflect on it, and then just be able to actually visualize the progress that your child has made. So, meaningful progress comes from repeated everyday interactions, not home programs, right? Something functional like putting on the your pants, getting dressed, right? These are functional everyday activities of daily living. And if your child can do one thing, if they can put one leg in and then, after a couple weeks go by, put the other leg in and then pull up their pants and close it like that, the little bit really builds, right? So it's about consistency, not intensity. And it starts with you allowing them for a little bit of time every morning to try to get dressed or put on one piece of clothing or put one body limb through one piece of clothing. Okay. So it's the consistency across time that's really important, not necessarily the intensity and the amount. Okay. Emotional progress matters too. Emotional progress matters too. Confidence, connection, independence, and reduced frustration are major indicators of development. I'll say that again. Confidence, connection, independence, and reduced frustration are all major indicators of development, often more telling than numerical data. Often something that there those things, confidence, connection, independence, reduced frustration, they are like they are quiet nuances, right? There's something that the data, the raw data just can't pick up. There's something that's not uh quantifiable, right? You can't make a percentage out of the amount of confidence a child has or the amount of independence that they demonstrate or how less frustrated they may seem. So, but those are huge. Those are huge indicators that they're getting better, right? That they perhaps have developed more endurance for the tasks that they need to do. that they are more proficient or have better problem solving or are becoming better at encountering new situations, right? That they're developing strength. These are all um, outcomes of those indicators that are observable that data points can't tell you. So emotional progress matters too, right? If they were putting on their if they were putting on their pants independently, like if they were putting on their pants but kicking and screaming and crying, right, a month ago, and now they're able to put on their pants without kicking and screaming and crying. They've met the goal a month ago and they met the goal today. However, the emotional progress differs a month ago and now. So that emotional progress is extremely important. You can measure that. And that's a measurement that supersedes the data point. All right, let's keep going. Let go of comparison. Let go of comparison. If you are just getting this, if you're just joining in, we're talking about progress over perfection, how to measure success beyond the data. Excuse me. I told you I'm drinking coffee at 5 p.m. Letting go of comparison. Release timelines. You're going to have to. Release timelines influenced by school charts, sibling milestones, or social media. Release timelines. The timelines that are imposed by school charts, developmental milestones, and social media. Each child's journey is unique and paced uniquely beautiful. If you didn't see my reel, go find it either on my page or in the the Facebook group, Special Needs Supermoms feed, or on YouTube or on Instagram. Find my reel because I let you know that your child is growing on their timeline. They're growing on their timeline, beautifully, uniquely, and on their own timeline, right? Um, in the United States, I know we have people from other nations, other parts of the world. There are a lot of well baby visits, right, with your pediatrician before your child turns 3. So many kids are identified before 3. However, not all. I did an initial referral recently with a family, a lovely family, and the child was 5 already, school aged, in school. Never received birth to 3 services, never received preschool services, and kindergarten was the first time she went to a classroom and met with a teacher. But here in the US, in terms of like significant developmental delays, there's a lot of identification, and moms know rather early. Moms, dads, families know rather early that children have some sort of developmental delay. So there's already no need to compare to parents already know when their children are diagnosed not to compare, that their child is different, right? That they're growing at their own rate, that they're not keeping up with milestones, that they don't follow, hit every mark on the chart at that time. It's important to go a step further and realize that your child's journey is unique to them. If you haven't seen the autism parenting series that I did in 2024 with Dr. Angela Lawrence. I had Lisandri on in Spanish. I had Miss Kate. She's a licensed clinical counselor. I had on Dr. Murray, who's a pediatrician, Maxine Murray. She's fierce. Um, and I had on, oh, Dr. Jalila, our nurse. I can't remember if she's a nurse practitioner or an RN. Doesn't matter. She's fierce. If you haven't seen that series, go and watch it. Dr. Angela is a clinical psychologist, and she spoke to us. She gave us a poem about somebody who thinks they're going to Italy, but they actually go to Holland, and if because they don't make the mind shift, they don't embrace the beauty of Holland because they're thinking about everything that they missed in Italy, where Holland has its own amazing landmarks and windmills and tulips, right? So each child's journey is uniquely paced and uniquely beautiful. So you got to let go of all the other things that are tools of comparison. That's how you measure. Then you will be apt and prepared to measure success beyond the data points. Okay, lastly, and we're not spending a whole bunch of time together this evening, but we are spending some time because just last week we spoke about growth and gratitude. So if you haven't seen that one, please go back and watch it. Um, Number five, in progress over perfection, how to measure success beyond the data, building a whole child view of growth. Okay, what does that mean? Progress includes communication, regulation, flexibility, engagement, joy, resilience. When moms look at the whole child, not just the goals, they see the real story of growth. So it's just about looking at more than one area, but looking at the whole thing. I know when I have meetings with parents, like I had one today, and the mom said, my biggest concern is language. She doesn't speak. I don't understand. He doesn't follow directions, right? But he does. He is such a sweet boy. He does help his teachers a lot. He does enjoy playing with other kids and socializing in nonverbal ways. So there is a lot. You just have to look at the whole picture. Okay. Please, please, please download my November's digital download. Reflect. It's a progress tracker for parents. Reflect, record, rejoice. I don't have a warranty or a guarantee, right, on my digital products. However, I will tell you, you won't regret buying it. It's not, it's not reflect, record, rejoice, regret. No, it's reflect, record, rejoice, and in that order. Reflect. And that's your opportunity to think about what you've seen your child do that day, that week. Record it down. They were able to take a bath um, and wash their body from their waist down. And I did the waist up. Or they were able to brush their teeth independently for 1 minute. And then I came behind them and did it for 2 minutes. Whatever it is, record it, right? And then as you look at the progress, you will rejoice at all of the progress that you've seen and how much growth, right? And you will be so grateful because you see them pushing ahead, right? They are going to push ahead whether you recognize it or not. Your ability to recognize their growth is 100% up to you. I'll say it one more time. Your children will grow. They will progress. They will succeed. They will meet their goals, whether anybody likes it or not. But your ability to recognize their growth depends 100% on you. And so make the mindset shift and get into a mode of gratitude, thanks, right? For who they are, who the special individuals that they are, their cute, adorable little selves, and get on board with their pace and their unique development, the way that they were made and how they're growing. Okay, It was such a pleasure to talk to you, to be on. I really like this 2 times a month. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't know if I'm going to feel like it, but it's been really good. We've been doing it since the summer. Please email me info@everycr.com for whatever you need. However, more specifically, if you are going to join the SPED clinic on November 25th, that is in 2 Tuesdays. That is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Yes. Collaborating with teams to highlight growth in IEP meetings. Okay, collaborating with teams to highlight growth in IEP meetings. I don't know if a lot of you know. I don't know if in your districts they go over it. There are sections on the IEP dedicated to parent voice. Right, there are parts in the present level of performance that are dedicated to parent areas of concern. That is the language, parent area of concern. So there is a place for you to voice your concerns. There's also a place for strengths and challenges, right? So that's another area where you can express yourself. If nothing else, if you have nothing else to contribute at the IEP meeting, like for example, if it's an annual and you're going over the year's progress and everything's really the same, your child's progressing and you know it, but you have no like big, grand, lofty thing to say, at the very least, say something positive. Say something positive to balance out that IEP, right? I love you all. Until we meet again, email me. I am into November with I am into December with speech and language evaluations, but I'm happy to evaluate Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, Connecticut, Fairfield County, and South, and New York City and Westchester. I can do in-person evaluations. Everybody else, all over those states, has to get a virtual evaluation. Therapy, I do have some help with that. I do have therapists to help. So I look forward to the next time we see each other again. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful day. Until I see you again. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.